Hey up everyone, hope you're all doing well. In today's video, I am going to go through every single champion in the UFC and tell you when I think they are going to lose their title. And of course, because I am a basic bitch, this will be in tier list format. Right now, we are about to dive straight into it, but just beforehand, just to give you how we're working with this, we're going to have the assumption that none of these fighters are going to move up a weight division and vacate their title, because I feel like a couple of them could. So we're just going to assume they don't move up a weight division, they just stay in their division and just keep going after their respective weight division contender. There's only one exception of vacating the title, which we'll get to. But let's start off from flyweight and work our way up to heavyweight. Of course, the flyweight champion is Alexandre Pantoja. Now, he is scheduled to take on Joshua Van. Do I think he loses to Joshua Van? No, I don't think he loses to Joshua Van. In fact, I'm going to put him in 4+. Even though Alexandre Pantoja is getting older, I believe he's in his late 30s now, and typically in the lower weight classes, you see a bit of a fall off when they start to get a bit older. At least you do sooner compared to like light heavyweight and heavyweight. You know, light heavyweight, you had Glover Teixeira, Jan Blachowicz was doing really well at an older age, and even in the heavyweight division, you have fighters doing well at an older age. That typically isn't the case when it comes to flyweights and lower weight classes. But Pantoja, I don't think he has to worry too much, because usually that is the case, because, you know, they start to lose their speed and their timing and their reaction timing and stuff like that. That's usually the first thing to leave you. That's usually the first thing to start slowing down. However, Pantoja doesn't really rely on that too much. Look at his fact, he's never been the fastest, he's never been the most explosive or anything like that. He's just always got that fucking dog in him, and he's very well-rounded. And I still think, you know, in a few years' time, he'll still have that. Now, his durability might drop a bit, but who really in that flyweight division is going to trouble his durability? I can't think of anyone, I'll be completely honest with you. I know you got some fresh young talent in that flyweight division. Of course, he's taking on Joshua Van next, who's very young. You got the likes of Lona Kavanagh as well. Mohamed Mikheyev could come back in the future. You got Andre Lima. So there is some young talent there. But right now, I just don't see anyone beating him. But that's why I put him in 4+, because I do think he will be beaten at some point. I just can't think of when. That's why I've put him in 4+. I do think he's going to get a lot more title defenses, but there will be a stage, and I don't know when, in a few years' time, when Pantoja does end up losing. Now we move on to the featherweight division, the bantamweight division. Sorry, I just skipped a weight division. And we have Merab. Now, this is going to ruffle some feathers, but honestly, I don't give a bollocks. Next fight, he's scheduled to take on Petr Yan. I've been saying it all year that Petr Yan beats Merab in a rematch. I just can't prove it. Ask me for a good explanation. I can't fucking give it to you. So if you go in the comments and start saying, why does he beat Merab? I don't know, but I know that he knows what he needs to do. But I don't know what he needs to do. Probably taking a gun. So I don't know, but he's going to beat Merab. But if you think, oh, that's just fucking delusional. Okay, let's just assume he gets past Yan. Let's go against my beliefs that he gets past Yan, that Yan beats him, and say that Merab beats Yan. Where do I think he would place? Honestly, about 2 or 3 fights. I've been also saying that Umar beats him in a rematch. Now, I'm probably seeming like a Merab hater. I promise you I'm not. I was at one point, but he's actually won me over. But I do believe with Umar, with a bit more experience and how competitive their first fight was, I do think he would be able to beat Merab in a rematch. It wouldn't be easy. I think if it comes to anyone against Merab, it's not easy. But yeah, I think Yan's going to beat him. And if it wasn't for Yan, it would be 2 or 3 because Umar, in my opinion. But now we move on to the featherweight division. And we have Alexander Volkanovski. Now, this is where I say on about vacating the title, because Volkanovski's probably only got like 2 or 3 fights. 3 at most, in my opinion. He's very getting on in age. He's just beat Diego Lopez. I don't know where I put him, because I don't think he loses his next fight. I don't think he loses to Lerone Murphy or Movsar or Diego Lopez in a rematch or Yair Rodriguez in a rematch. So it's not next fight. I think he beats all of those guys. But then you're left wondering, well, who? Because Gene Silva's just lost. So, like, you know, you got Kevin Valios, who's going to take, I don't know how many years, or, you know. So, I don't really know where I put him. I feel like putting him in never, because I feel like he's going to vacate with that title and retire as champion. I'll be completely honest with you. I can see Volkanovski retiring on top. That's just how I see it. I promise you, I've got no one else a part of this list who that goes for. But for Volkanovski, I do think he's at the end of his career. I don't think he plans on fighting too much more. I think it's going to be a never job. I think he's going to vacate. Maybe after his next fights, maybe after a couple fights. Who knows? But I don't think out of those 4 title contenders we could possibly get for Volkanovski that he loses to either of them. He's already beat Yair. He's already beat Diego. And I think he beats Movsar and Lerone Murphy. So I'll put him in never, because I think he's going to vacate with that title around his waist. Now we move up to the lightweight division, and we have we've got Ilia Topuria. Now, Ilia Topuria, again, he's talked about moving up to welterweight, but we're not including that because that just kind of fucks up the video, in all fairness. So how would he get on just staying in that lightweight division? I'm going to be honest, he goes in never. The only one who really troubles him properly, in my opinion, is Arman Tsarukyan. Other than that, I genuinely don't see anyone beating him. Honestly, I don't see anyone beating him in that lightweight division. Do you? No, you fucking don't. It's literally only Ilia to put it in. If Islam Makhachev comes down, maybe. Or Arman Tsarukyan. Those are the only two I can see beating Ilia. And even then, I favour Ilia against both of those guys. Call it deluded. Don't give a bollocks. I've told you before. But Paddy, I think he beats him. Justin Gaethje, I think he beats him. Max Holloway in a rematch. I was actually saying in my Discord earlier, I think Max Loki has a chance in a rematch, but I still think Ilia would win. You got Dan Hooker gets hit too much. Gamrot, Fiziev. I think he beats every single fucking one of them, boys. And even if you get someone like, Ruffy could have made it exciting, but he lost to Ben Saint Denis. Yeah, I think Ilia Topuria, he's the real deal. Going to go down as maybe the actual GOAT. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think if he stayed in that lightweight division, he would beat everyone. But the only tricky one is Arman, and if Islam Makhachev came back down. But yeah, I'm going to go with never for Ilia Topuria. Now we move on to Della Maddalena. Now, his next fight is a very tough one. It's against Islam Makhachev in his welterweight debut. Do I think he loses to Islam Makhachev? Do I? Bollocks, mate. No ways. Well, no, he definitely could. I think Islam Makhachev has a great chance, but I do favour JDM in this one. I think JDM's going to beat Islam Makhachev. And welterweight stat, man, you got Ian Gary, Bilal Muhammad, even though he's already beat Bilal Muhammad, could possibly come back for a rematch. Leon Edwards? No, you got Shavkat as well. Kamaru Usman's knocking on the door. Sean Brady, Marco Morales. There's Carlos Prates. There's a lot of people in that welterweight division who could possibly fuck things up for JDM. I'm going to put at about 2 or 3. It's one of these two. I think he's going to have a bit of a title reign, and it'll be a fun one, by the way. I just don't know if it's 2 or 3 fights. I'm going to go with 3 fights. I feel like someone like Shavkat might take it off him. I still think he could beat Shavkat. I could see JDM beating all the guys I listed, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of hard to keep a long title reign in that welterweight division, man. It's so good at the moment. I think it's going to be 3 fights. I don't know who's going to be the one to beat him, but out of all those names I picked out, I feel like he's got to lose to at least one of them. If not, he's going to be one of the greatest of all time. Let's be fucking honest. But yeah, I think 3 fights for JDM. I would like it to be long because I really like JDM. I love his boxing ability and just love watching him fight. But yeah, 3 fights for JDM for me. But now we move on to the middleweight division. Recently crowned Khamzat Chimaev, undefeated. How do I think he pans out? Next fight, more than likely going to be Nasruddin Imavov. I think he bums him, unfortunately, because I like Imavov. That's why I'm saying unfortunately. I also like Khamzat, don't get me wrong. If he's staying in the middleweight division, never. If he was to go up to light heavyweight, still probably never, to be honest. Still probably never, unless it was Ankalaev. I actually feel like Ankalaev is a tricky style for Khamzat personally. But regardless, we're talking about middleweight. Yeah, you got some grapplers there. RDR just got bummed by Brendan Allen. We saw Brendan Allen get bummed by Fluffy Hernandez. Hernandez, I think, is really good in all fairness, and probably is the biggest threat towards Khamzat. But even still, I think Khamzat just absolutely wipes the floor with him. Sean Strickland, I think Khamzat wipes the floor with him. We just saw what he did with DDP, man. Like, I can't really make an argument for anyone. Tabor Gautier, I'm on the hype train. No, I'm sorry, brother. I haven't seen enough of you to say you're going to beat Khamzat fucking Chimaev. So yeah, Khamzat Chimaev, I've got to put him in never. If I had, out of all these people in never, he is like the most confident I'm in that he would just retire undefeated and keep that title if he didn't move up, of course, and start. Because I know he wants to start moving up, or he even talked about going down to welterweight not long ago. So yeah, if he stays at middleweight, I don't see any fucker beating him. I'll be completely honest. But now we move on to Alex Pereira, staying in that light heavyweight division. I can't go with another never. I can't. Sure. It's a bit too easy, that is, but I might have to, because, like, he's beat Ankalaev and just made absolute light work of him. Maybe if Ankalaev can get his way back into a rematch, into a trilogy, but Pereira's also getting up there in age, so he could vacate with the title. Who knows? John Jones, would he make 205 again? Now, if it's John Jones, I'll probably put it like, I don't know, I can't say, because John Jones, I can't trust him right now to come back. He's beat Khalil, he's beat Yuri, he's beat Jan Blachowicz, he's beat Hale. Like, who's going to beat him? Olberg. Yeah, him. Oh, yeah, call. Yeah. No, I don't. Who? I don't know. So yeah, I don't think anyone beats him. Ankalaev could in a trilogy. In all fairness, I'm not going to completely write off Ankalaev because he looked awful in the rematch. You know what? I maybe in a trilogy, Ankalaev could beat him in a trilogy. I'm going to put him in never. I'm just going to put him in never. Yeah, I just don't see anyone beating him unless, like, some heavy grappler who can also mix in his striking could come down. But I just don't see it happening personally. So I'm going to go with never. And last but not least, Tom Aspinall. Now, I've been generous in putting everyone in never. Maybe people are expecting me to put him in never. I'm putting him in 4+ fights. Now, hear me out. Heavyweight fighters don't usually have long title reigns. Just typically talking, I think Stipe has, like, the record. He's like, what, 3? Maybe 4 title defenses. That's it. Like, heavyweight champions don't have long title defenses. I think Tom's going to have a lengthy one. Sounds a bit weird. I think Tom's going to have quite a long reign, but just I don't think it'll be never. I think like someone will burst through the scene eventually. Maybe Jones comes and maybe it goes to like 2 fights, or you know what I mean. But I don't think he loses to Cyril Gane. But I do think he has a few title defenses. But I don't know what it is. It's the fact that it's nothing to do with Tom necessarily. It's more to just do with heavyweight, and you can never really call it. I suppose you could say that about any division, really. But heavyweight, most especially considering, you know, it literally is just one punch and you're fucked. That is just the crack of it all. And yeah, so I've gone with Tom Aspinall, 4+. Hopefully it's never, because I'm a big fan of Aspinall, but I've gone with 4+ for Tom Aspinall. But that is my list. That's how I think it will pan out. Let me know in the comments where you think each champion would go in the tier list. Let me know in the comments who you think is going to lose in their next fight. Thank you for watching the video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.